Before I got into Quake, all I did was play console games, but I've never played competitively, so I'm not sure if I can do the Razer Wolverine Ultimate justice. I have reviewed over 80 gaming mice though, so I'm going to show some PC gamer testing, and talk about the differences between it and the Xbox One S controller. First of all, the material on top is fairly smooth, very slightly textured plastic, fairly similar to the standard controller, but while the white is slightly textured plastic underneath, the Wolverine has a rubberized surface, also textured, but surprisingly smooth. The thumbsticks don't look as nice, but they feel a lot better, which is more important. They're smooth and easy to grip, and they're also replaceable. They give you a couple extras in the carry case, including a D-pad, which is of course the usual plastic. And these extra buttons on the base look like they're metal, but they're also plastic. For the shape, it's basically the same with some minor differences. Like on the bottom here, it has some extra ledges to help you grip it, but even with subtle differences, no question, I would always reach for the Wolverine instead of the standard controller. The only thing holding it back is that it's wired. There are wireless devices with no latency these days, so I would have loved if this was wireless too. The more important part of this controller is the buttons. As you can see, there are a lot more on the Wolverine, including these 4 on the front, which allow you to switch profiles, mute microphone, and change volume. And it can store 2 profiles in the device. These clutch triggers on the base are great for adjusting sensitivity on the thumbsticks, especially in first-person shooters when you need the extra accuracy or toning, as I'll show later. The main 4 are also lower than the standard controller. This is like a speed switch. With less travel, the theory is you should be slightly faster on them. So with that in mind, let's check the button latency. First against a top mouse in CSGO. The results seem to be about the same, with both around the 250 millisecond mark, so that's a very good sign. On the Xbox, it seems even when wired, the standard controller is inconsistent and has higher times, and it also seems worse in wireless mode. I was able to get much more consistent and lower scores with the Wolverine. If it was just lower scores, that could be the buttons, but because of the inconsistency on the Xbox controller, I would think it's something else. But this isn't scientific testing, so who knows. I also set the controller up in Quake Live so I could make use of all the buttons. The 2 triggers couldn't be used together. Left was jump, right was fire. You notice I can't do them both at the same time. It seems I can use all the other buttons together, so I don't know what is causing this issue, because I later set attack to the A button and everything worked fine. It just seems like there's a ghosting issue with the triggers together. I don't know if that's going to be the same on the Xbox, it might be a PC only issue. The button on the base is also really good for changing speed of movement and turning rate, so when you want to be precise, you can be. So if I was going to play first person shooters on a console, I'd definitely want a controller like this, as long as they fix that ghosting issue. For quality and general information, here's a button sound check. My A button has a bit of a spring sound to it, not too bad though. But aside from that, all the buttons sound and feel really good. None are too loud either, all seem a bit better than the standard controller. The cable is a smooth braid, and 3 meters long. Again, I wish it was wireless. Just quickly looking in the software, we can remap the extra buttons, but unfortunately it only allows us to remap them to other buttons. I would have loved if these could be used as extra buttons, like you'd get on the Black Widow Chroma keyboard, but having focus and agile is really good. You can change sensitivity of each too. And of course you can alter the lighting effects with the usual presets, my favourite being the wave. You can also adjust the vibrations. There's a quick guide too, so it'll tell you all about the controller. To actually play with this, it's fun, comfortable, and really enjoyable. I only play Quake these days, so forgive my rustiness in fighting games, but from what I can tell, it works as intended, and the hyper response buttons might actually give some advantage with timing. Feels great in racing games too. I especially like being able to slow down the thumbsticks to aim in first-person shooters. And that brings me to the conclusion. The Xbox Elite controller is wireless and just a bit cheaper. I haven't tried one, but I can understand why this is a little more expensive. That said, because it is wired, it's just a bit of a letdown for a casual console gamer like me. I guess until they can get that zero latency technology for wireless, they had to go for wired for the hyper-competitive console players. So if you are competitive, from my testing, the Razer Wolverine has consistent, high performance and extra functions that should help you play at your best. And it works in Windows 10 and Xbox One. Hope that helps. Special thanks to Razer for sending it out for review. And if you'd like to help support the channel, I'll leave the usual links in the description. As always, subscribe, like and share this video, and I'll catch you in the next.